Hi, it's Jeff Chalmers here from discoverdouble-bass.com, where you can go to learn about the double bass with our courses, our lessons and interviews. And today I'm joined by the wonderful double bass player Florentin Ginot. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to Discover Double Bass. Florentin, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, here we are in Huddersfield in the UK because you're performing this evening at the Contemporary Music Festival with Ensemble Musique Fabrique. And I know that you are playing a lot of contemporary and modern music, and I'd just really like to talk to you a little bit about some of the techniques that go behind some of the more modern repertoire. And one of the things that was really interesting to me is that I found this beautiful video online of you teaching pinched harmonics.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed it. Would you mind maybe demonstrating some of that?
Yeah.
Do you want me to hold your bow, or were you?
No, it's okay. Well, actually, yes, you should, because it's obviously making a lot of noise. And yeah, I think
it's beautiful sound.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, it's about. I mean, it's a technique which was developed mostly by Stefano Scodanibio, of course, and which I mean, most players I think discover in the sequenza by Luciano Berio. Where they start to practice and they start to hurt their fingers a lot while doing this, and then yeah, it's.
I think you get.
It's also about finding other ways to. We were talking about virtuosic elements in the previous video, and it's about finding, sideways to bring the latency of the bass to another level, obviously.
So could you explain a little bit about how you're doing this then? So maybe the technique behind it.
Yeah, so it's obviously the strings is divided in notes, in harmonics, and you know the thumb, the bass principle that the thumb is on the harmonics spot, and then you use always the two first fingers to plug the strings in a reverse side, because you can divide it. But the left hand will plug it one string per finger, actually, while the second finger can actually benefit from the double string. So you see, and that's what makes it that you can go much faster.
Guitaristic, isn't it?
It's a guitaristic, and actually in the sequenza, if you look a bit more into the score, there is also a lot of guitar. Tremolo, etc., like using the four fingers technique, etc. So there is a lot taken from the guitar techniques, and the one difficulty that the guitar strings are very different, the tension is very different, and the resonating as well, and we are fretless. I mean, at least with the upright bass. So you need to adapt this to find the right way. And then the main, I mean, what usually you have to learn is to move the hands, of course. I mean, the continuity comes from, of course, to move while the other hand is playing. So that's a simple principle, but then sometimes you talk with composers who want to write for it, and then you need to, and they want to write more complex lines than just, takatoko, takatoko, tikatoko, like, So they need to understand that. They need to understand how you move in between and to give the time.
It's such a different sound world, isn't it? I love the way that you're moving and combining the two hands.
Yeah. I mean, this bass is tuned with one string lower, so it's a bit less tension.
It's in solo tuning, but with
exactly.
lower string.
A, E, B, E. Actually.
Wow.
So, and what I do like a lot with this technique is also the multiphonics. I mean, very special sound, also very complex, which brings a lot of different harmonics fighting each other. I love this.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and especially with the tuning as well. I think in solo tuning it really pops out.
Yeah.
Are there any other kind of more or less traditional techniques, extended techniques that you particularly enjoy on the double bass?
I mean,
with or without the bow?
Yeah, there are a lot. I mean, it's always I can't count anymore how many composers come with a request. I want to write for a sound that doesn't exist, you know.
Yeah.
And then you need to, I mean, somehow it doesn't exist, a sound that doesn't exist. But you need to find other ways of playing with your tools. You know, we have a bass, we have a bow mostly. We have the pitch techniques, obviously, on the bass. And then maybe you need to you know, to use the same elements differently.
I love this. So you're actually plucking the string with your left hand,
yeah,
but then you're...
and you use this as a sort of, you know, it's a buzzing wooden element. It's not a bow anymore, it's a wooden stick, basically. So actually Boris Fritz would probably hit my face at the moment.
Yeah, that's right.
You know...
So you ever use a drumstick and...
Yeah, you can also do that, but sometimes, you know, you need to do... You need to be very flexible using all those things together, and the composer wants, you know, everything. So you need, that's why you need to use this. Of course, I mean, yeah, there is a lot of things we can actually do. I mean, of course, you can. This is not an extended technique, but it's an extension of what already exists in classical, which are the harmonics, and you can filter it with different positions, the bow, different pressurize.
So you're playing more Ponticello, more over the bridge.
Yeah, exactly. And then the left hand
is it very loose?
Contributes to this.
So you might not be able to see on the camera, but you're not actually pressing the string onto the fingerboard, you're going on the side of the string.
You're putting it on the side, and then you have this kind of vibrato, which is a very wide one.
Yeah.
And this somehow you know, it brings the whole spectrum, you shift the whole spectrum somehow. So it's quite interesting as a... And then playing with the pressure and the position. If you reduce, it's another sound already. So this is also, it's another way of the extended technique, just extending the already existing things. Of course, you also have all the multiphonics, what we call complex sounds in new music, all the more complex things, you know, which you can bring, and
so you're bowing behind the finger that's...
Yeah, you have your finger is right behind.
I've never seen that done before.
The bow, yeah, and then well, it's the sound that you can take an example is a clarinet. I won't remember the English name for that, but in French it's son fondu. You know, it is this very typical clarinet sound actually that you're using.
Yes.
This probably will freak out some classical people, but. And then you filter by moving back and forth, you filter the high frequency while the low stays as a fundamental of the bass. Yes. Yeah, there are many different things.
Do you ever use many percussive elements on the double bass as well?
Yeah.
Is there any favourite?
Yeah, I mean, this is also, of course, I can give you this.
Sure,
I mean,
please.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, it's actually you can combine things we have been talking about, like you know, with these harmonics.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is basically a sort of marimba, right? It's you know, all the wooden sounds you can have is very fine when you start listening to the details, actually, more in a percussion player here, I mean, more than a bass player. It's incredible, all the things, because it's, I mean, of course, it's due to the tension in the wood and the different size of each part. You know, here, when you're near to the how do you call that in English?
Soundbar?
The soundbar, you know, it's very, very deep.
Yeah.
and profound. And here you have these super things, which is actually harmless for the bass, because it's, you know, it's a very solid point, of course. And then, yeah, you can combine it with more traditional, coming from the jazz technique, of course, the pits, the tapping.
Do you ever play any jazz?
No, I didn't, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I wish, but you know, they are 24 hours and it's...
Yeah,
it's
another life.
Life is short. I mean, it's, yeah. I love jazz, but it's just, there is, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today to talk about this. I've seen this video where you're teaching in more detail the approach to the harmonics, which we'll provide a link for below, because I'm sure many of the viewers will want to learn more about it. But it's been really incredible to kind of meet you in person and to hear this up close, and hopefully we'll cut to a video of you playing. But I just wanted to thank you on behalf of everybody here at Discover Double Bass for joining us today. It's been really inspiring to kind of hear your approach to the double bass. And if people want to learn more about you, please go and visit florentinginot.com. It's the place that you can find out all about Florentin's music, his performances of Bach, as well as contemporary classical music and many other projects as well. So thanks so much for watching at home. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.